Simon's book just going to be one book, or is there going to be more than one about him? I love Simon.
Oh, good. I always like the people who love Simon. There are less of them than people who love Jace, but they're more intense. You know, people who love Jace are like, I love Jace. People who love Simon are like, I love Simon. I love him. I'm like, I love him too, so that's cool. Right now it's one book, but I honestly can't say whether it might be two. I can see how it could be longer, but in taking on writing the Simon book, I'm taking on writing 2 books a year. So I'm going to write it, and then I'm going to see if I'm dead, or, you know, all of my hair's falling out, or my doctor's like, my God, you've aged 35 years in 6 months. So if it's an okay experience and not torturous and horrible, then I'm definitely going to consider, you know, whether or not I feel like the story could go longer.
Hi, I'm Gabby from Monday Moms. Hi. Can you give us any plot points about the 4th Mortal Instruments book?
Well, I could, but I don't know if I want to. I'm a little scared. Simon is having trouble adjusting to being a vampire. He is having a little trouble having 2 girls dating him at once. He's not really sure how to balance that. So for the many people who have asked me who Simon chooses, he does not choose either of them, but instead tries what I've seen many teenage boys try, which is to date 2 girls without either of them knowing about it. This goes poorly for him, and he is forced to flee town. Clary is training to be a Shadowhunter at the Institute with Jace, and she's like, bye, I hope you come back soon, and he flees to a small town. He has a good reason for going there. It has to do with a school music program that he's doing, and once he gets to the town, he starts to realize that very sinister things are going on in the town, and that they somehow have a connection to the things that he has experienced with the Shadowhunters before in the past. So he has to call on his friends to come back and kind of help him, even though none of them are speaking to each other.
Hi, my name's Sequoia, big fan. I was just wondering, out of all the characters that you've created and written about, which one do you think you're the most alike?
Simon. That's easy. That's why the worst things always happen to him.
Does that mean that you tried to date two dudes at once?
I did actually once, and it went very poorly.
I had to bogart someone's question.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. As someone who wants to become a writer themselves, your book kind of got me more into the fantasy genre after a not so pleasant experience with a unnamed book that involved vampires. Sorry. Kind of a weird question, but Alec is like my favorite character. So, in the first book, Isabel says that they disown Alec if they found out about his orientation. So, like, considering the demonstrative method that he used in City of Glass to kind of tell his parents, after the whole life on the line thing, how did they take it? Did they have any qualms with it?
I like to think that after losing a son in that battle, that they would value their other children even more, and probably not disown their oldest son for a reason that they, I believe, have come to realize is stupid. I enjoy thinking about Alec bringing Magnus to family meals because I think it would be entertaining, and nobody, I mean, what I was trying to illustrate was a generational difference. None of the younger Shadowhunters care. None of the ones who really don't live in Idris care. Jace is like, Alec, he's gay. He kind of likes me, but I think he'll get over that. Anyway, like, his interest level is like 0 in this. He does not regard it as a problem. And, you know, his sister knows, and everybody basically knows, except his parents, and they find out. But I felt like it was the older, like, more hidebound members of the Clave, the ones who live in Idris and pass these sort of draconian laws and whatnot, that would be bothered. And that the idea at the end of the book is that this is something of a new birth for the Shadowhunters. They're going to have a new kind of government and more accepting kind of government, and that under this kind of, you know, new rule, that Alec would be just fine. Although the only thing so far that he's doing in the new MI book is he went to Europe with Magnus, and they keep sending photos back from their phone. Like, here we are in front of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Glad you're not here. So they're happy, which I thought was important.
I just want to thank you because the books, like I was in jury duty the other day and I read 2 of them.
Jury duty.
So I want to thank you for that because that was 8 hours of utter boredom waiting for to be called, and I didn't get called. So it helped me out, so it gave me something to do.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I was just wondering, do you use any personal experiences in your books? Like I know it's like a fantasy book, but you could like relate other situations to what happened in the book?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely callbacks in the books to things that have actually happened to me or people I know. Jason takes a bath in spaghetti or something in the first book that he talks to about his dad about, and that was my best friend's birthday present when she was 5, so she wanted to take a bath in spaghetti. So, I'm trying to think, you know, Simon and his D&D playing and all of that gaming, his whole band are all based on guys that I know, and this is the way that they act and the things that they do, and they had a band that could never come up with a name, and, you know, sometimes it was Mojo Pine, sometimes it was something else, so, I mean, I think you draw on the experiences that you actually have. I think it grounds the fantasy in reality, and that helps on many levels, you know, you want it to feel. Does it have a Bane mouth? No, they continue to. The whole book, like the Simon book, they just keep texting back and forth about what name the Bane is going to be. Like, worse and worse names. There's actually a whole plot point about it, so I can't actually tell you. But no, he's still in the band. Well, because they're like, you're a vampire, so you're totally going to be in our band because vampire bands are awesome. And so this is going to be even better. But now we need a name, and they keep setting him like really horrible vampire-related names, and he's like, no, you know, the Fang Brothers, and he's like, no, I'm not gonna be in a band called that. So anyway, but yeah, you know, and often like things are not based on stuff in life, but I have my friends and family often call me and are like, you know, this seems exactly like so-and-so that we know. And I'm like, well, I wasn't thinking about so-and-so at all. My friend's mother edged up to me and was like, is Valentine based on anyone? And I was like, no, really. And she was like my ex-husband. And I was like, I have never met him. I don't know him, but whatever.
Hi, my name's Neil, and I had a kind of weird question. At the end of City of Ashes, you have like 2 people discussing who would win in a fight, Magnus Bane or Albus Dumbledore, and I want to know your opinion on that.
That's awkward because when I wrote that, I didn't know Dumbledore was gay. It was pre that particular revelation, and so I think it was pre Deathly Hallows or something. And so when actually that news broke, everyone was like, "All right, the battle of gay wizards," and I was like, "Well, it wasn't supposed to be. That was an accident." Like, I was like, Dumbledore had come out of the closet earlier, I would not have had this problem. But who do I think would win? I think Dumbledore would win. I gotta say, he's cunning. He's cunning and he's kind of ruthless, and Magnus is always kind of, you know, like, not taking things sufficiently seriously. So, yeah, he would just be like, I don't want to fight Dumbledore, let's party, and it was all go down.
Hi, my name's Paige, and actually me and my sisters drove all the way from Medfield, Massachusetts to be here.
Oh, thank you.
And I was just wondering, well, 2 questions really. Do you approve of fan fiction? And if you do, have you read any really weird stuff?
I approve of fan fiction. I'm just fine with it. I have read weird stuff, but not weird stuff of my own characters. I don't read that because I think it's not a good idea. I mean, it's too close to what I do. I don't want to be influenced by the stuff that people make up and write about my world and, you know, then be like, where did I get that idea? I can't remember, and have it have come from something somebody else wrote. That's, I think, why most writers don't read fan fiction of their own work. But I've certainly read a weird fan fiction. You can't, like, work in an office and not. People are like, look at this. I actually first came across fan fiction when I was doing a story for The Hollywood Reporter. They asked me to do a story for on the X-Files about the X-Files fandom, and I didn't really know anything about fandom, so I went digging through it, and they gave me all these links, and, like, there was a link to just there's pages and pages and pages of fan fiction, and I started reading through them, and I was like, this is mesmerizing. There's like a 95,000-word story about how Scully falls in love with Captain Picard. But it wasn't Captain Picard, it was like the guy who plays Captain Picard, Patrick Stewart. She ran into him while she was jogging, and they fell in love, and Mulder was really mad. And he was like, just because I'm not on a TV show, and it was very meta. So, you know, it's given me great entertainment in the past, and all of those who wish to write fanfiction about my books, go right ahead, knock yourself out.
Hi, my name is Taylor. I'm also from Massachusetts. If you could add or change anything to your books, would you, or would you leave them the way they are?
Like this $9 million question. Yeah, I mean, there's always things that you would add and change. It's just sort of torturous to think about it. Because you can't go back and fix the things that you did originally, and make them better. I think that I would probably try to bring some of the characters that I brought in later earlier so that we could get to know them a little bit better. I think I would have liked to have more characters of color. It's kind of a white world. I mean, there are some, but there should be more, and I regret that. I would have liked to give them bigger roles. So that's something that I'm thinking about going forward, especially with the 4th book. And yeah, I mean, that's actually the main thing that kind of bugs me. So, are you?
Hi. We were wondering if you've ever actually bathed in spaghetti.
No, that was my best friend when she was 5. And actually, her mother called me after she read the book and was like, "You stole her spaghetti bath," and I was like, "Yeah, she told me I could have it." She's a doctor. I don't think she was going to write a story about it. It was funny though, and she was like, "I gave her that spaghetti bath, not her dad." I was like, "Okay, anyway." Thank you.
Hi, my name's Guillermo. I want to thank you because I'm actually gay, and it was nice to read a book that isn't a total cliche of like I'm a teenage homosexual and like I'm depressed. And it was really like I love the twist you put on it, and I want to thank you for like the idea of the incest. Like it makes me think like who writes this stuff? Like, and I actually wanted to know, do you have any ideas outside of the Mortal Instruments? Anything possibly not relating to the Mortal Instruments that you may be writing?
Oh, in terms of writing books that are completely unconnected to the Shadowhunter world? Yeah, I have a lot of ideas. It's just that I'm so like booked up right now. You know, I've got the Clockwork series that the last book of that publishes in 2013, and then the Simon book publishes in 2011, and so I have like a ton of ideas of things I'd love to do. But you know, I'd like to do a modern sort of gothic kind of slight horror, but realism, but with like some magical realism in it, and keep it really scary, and have like a small town thing where there's all these like secrets and stuff that are slowly uncovered and whatnot. But I have no idea when I would have time to write something like that. And I've been talking to a friend of mine endlessly about doing an updated Pride and Prejudice, but we have a title for it, we know it would happen, we have no idea when we'll have time to write it. So I wish I could be like Stephen King and stay up for 18 hours a day, but I can't.
You have written some short stories.
What?
You have written some short stories.
Yeah, I mean, I have written some short stories. I just wrote one about zombies. And what? I don't know. I don't know. What's the anthology called? Zombies and Unicorns?
Zombies versus Unicorns.
You want me to so I'm now promoting Holly's deranged anthology.
You've written other stories.
It's called Zombies versus Unicorns, and half the stories are about zombies and half the stories are about unicorns. I got zombies because I don't like unicorns. And then I also wrote a story called The Mirror House and a book called Vacations from Hell, and I'm writing a steampunk short story. So I do write, but I don't have such time. Yes.
Hi, I'm Anna. I'm a huge fan, and my question is, did you see anybody playing the characters as you were writing them? Did you envision anyone? And now that there's a movie in the works, do you see any celebrities playing anybody?
I would like them to cast Robert Downey Jr. because I love him. I'm not really going to care who he plays. It would be what? He could be Magnus. He'd be a great Magnus. So yeah, you know, Robert Downey Jr., that'd be good. He could play several roles. I mean, I'm not picky. I don't envision celebrities when I'm writing. The characters look like they look in my head. They have a very specific look. And when I think about like who would play them in a movie, first I'm like, oh my god. And then, I mean, you know, I have some pictures on my website of people that a lot of people have chosen or thought were particularly good. But part of me would like them to cast like people that are just really like talented and look right that nobody knows. In some ways, I think that would be great because then you bring almost a complete blank slate to the film. But also Robert Downey Jr. He never calls me back. All right.
Hi, how are you? My name is Lena. I'm a huge fan. My friend Angela, actually, who is a Monday mom. She's the Downworld Diva.
Wow, I love the Monday mom.
She introduced me to your series because I'm a huge Adam Lambert fan, and she's like, you know, you're gonna love him. There's a character in there that looks just like Adam Lambert.
Well, Magnus would be like, huh.
Anyway, there's a question I have. At the end of City of Glass, there's a woman that's mentioned. I think she has light brown hair, but it doesn't really go anywhere. Is there a backstory there? Is that going to go anywhere in the future?
She's Tessa from the Infernal Devices.
Okay, got it.
So.
When is that coming out?
The first one is coming out the beginning of next September.
Awesome, can't
Angel,
wait.
so.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kat, and I came from Connecticut. It's my birthday on Monday. This is my birthday gift.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. I was just wondering, now that Clary has started her Shadowhunter training, she's going to be doing probably more physical stuff, learning how to fight and kind of stuff like that.
She's not very good at it.
Oh, I was going to ask if she and Jace were, like, competitive then.
No, she's not very good at it.
Alas and alas.
Competitive, I mean, you have to look at it this way. Jace has had 16 years of training. Terry has had, at the beginning of the book, 3 weeks of training. So he spends a lot of time, like, you know, hooking her up to things on the ceiling and then trying to teach her how to fall long distances and then being like, ha-ha, when it doesn't work out. So, I wouldn't say competitive.
Hi, my name is Rebecca. I just want to say, first of all, you're a wonderful writer, and I've been following you since the Draco trilogy, so a very, very long time. I have 2 questions. One, you say sort of that the werewolves and the vampires are kind of people who have been infected with like demonic energies or sort of viruses, but then the fairies are kind of an offspring of angels and demons. Is that true, or is that like the rumor that they're telling people, or is it that they also have like a demonic virus?
The fairies?
Yeah.
I was actually looking up some stuff about this in these books with Holly the other day. When I wanted that all of the Downworlders to in some way be part demon or part angel, because that is the source of all that is supernatural in this particular world. There's no outside supernatural force. There's demons and angels. And they create all magic. And so I was wondering about the fairies, and there's a whole bunch of mythology that you can find if you read old sort of fairy lore that claims that fairies are fallen angels. And so, since I already kind of had, you know, the Nephilim, who are supposed to be the offspring of humans and angels, I didn't want to repeat that, so I decided that fairies would be the offspring of demons and angels. You know, part very good, part very bad. It seemed to mix with their sort of mischievous nature. And I mean, that's what I think is the actual truth. I don't think it's a story that they're putting around.
Okay. And the second question is that since Simon is going to be 16 forever, does that hurt his dating chances?
Oh yeah, he's really bummed about being 16 forever in the book. He just spends a lot of time being like, I'm always going to look like this. You know, I'm never going to like be any taller or be any bigger or have broader shoulders. I'm always just kind of look like a kind of underweight emo kid. And he's like thinking like, what if I live like 500 years or 600 years and people get bigger and bigger and I stay this size? I could be the shortest person in the world. So he spends, you know, he's Simon. He spends a lot of time being neurotic about it. But he has other problems.
Hi. In City of Bones, there was a cameo from Viola Lewis from Bryant. Is there any chance that there might be any more characters making appearances?
I think Holly should tell you about the white cat.
In the new book that I'm working on, it's set in an alternate world, and there's a tiny cameo by alternate world Jace.
I hope people will enjoy that. I did. In the future going forward, I mean, Holly and I made a decision that our worlds overlapped, and that so if Val and Lewis were in it, then the other characters would be there around the periphery. So, like, if the Sealy Queen shows up again, that's, she's the same Sealy Queen that's in Holly's books.
Hi, Amy.
I know.
I'm just wondering, with, like, Jocelyn and Luke and everyone, like, first of all, does Jocelyn care about, like, Clary kind of training into the Shadowhunter world, and do Luke and she, like, live happily ever after, if you know?
They're getting married in this book. It's a really small wedding. So she already had a big wedding Valentine's, that turned out badly. So small. I'm not a wedding planner. I'm supposed to get married next year, and I don't want to plan my own wedding, so I really don't want to plan fictional characters' wedding. So it's a little wedding. But she and Luke is basically like, you have to let her do what she wants to do. If she wants to train to be a Shadowhunter, you have to let her train to be a Shadowhunter. And Jocelyn's like, no, I did all this stuff to keep her from having this life. I don't want her this for her. And he's like, it doesn't matter. So there's tension, you know, there. And she goes off to the institute instead of high school. And Jocelyn's like, she won't let her sleep there, though. She's going to come home every night. You're not sleeping there, especially as your boyfriend's there. She's like, all right. I love Luke. All right. Thanks. You know I love Luke. In that gallery.